Welcome back. Your host, Fight Pass with Mitch, presented by Notorious Pulls Radio. And for this episode, we're going to be going over Dana White's Tough Season 31 with head coaches Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. This season is going to be absolutely insane. We have 16 total fighters entering the show. 8 of them will be bantamweights, 8 of them will be lightweights. Obviously, Conor McGregor, as the head coach, is going to be having a very tight staff. He's having coach John Cavanga as his assistant coach, and he has Owen Rody for jiu-jitsu. As you know, Michael Chandler is bringing in a huge, diverse staff. He has Ryan Bader as his assistant coach. He has Robert Drysdale for jiu-jitsu, Jason Strout for striking coach, and Greg Jones for wrestling. And I think that's fantastic. I really like what Michael Chandler's doing, having a well throughout coaching staff. I think it's going to help a lot of the fighters develop. A lot of them can get more individualized one-on-one training. I think McGregor, personally, by having such a tight-knit staff, he himself wants to have a huge, tremendous role in training his team that he's going to select and to be super involved in the show. So I am really excited about that. A few of the fighters that I really want to keep an eye on and that I'm happy to see be in the show, and that is lightweight Austin Hubbard. Obviously, Austin Hubbard has had experience in the UFC. He had a record of 3-4 with the promotion. He's a former LFA lightweight champion. He earned UFC wins over Kyle Peprolek, over Max Roskopf, and Dakota Bush. He's been 2-0 since his UFC departure, including a win over Julian Lane. Hubbard is a very crafty fighter. He trains with guys out in Denver. I think he has a huge advantage on the Ultimate Fighter because of his experience. And I believe he's going to come back stronger than ever. And it's going to be very interesting on the show whether the guys who have tons of experience versus the guys who have no UFC experience, and see how they fare well against each other. So I really like the way they've diversified the playing field for this episode, for this show, this season. Another interesting guy that I want to keep an eye out, and that's Jason Knight. He has a ton of UFC experience, but one of my main things, he was 1-1 in bare knuckle boxing. So I'm really curious to see, after a guy who's had a great, MMA career, switched over to one of the fastest growing sports, and now is going to come back into MMA octagon. I'm really curious to see if he has the boxing advantage over most of the lightweights in the house. So he's another fighter I'm keeping an eye on. And another gentleman of the lightweights I have to mention is Lee Hammond. He actually trains out with Conor McGregor and Coach Cavanga at SBJ. I'm not sure if it's going to be a strategy for Team Chandler to take or pick Lee on his team to try to make it a priority, or will McGregor go all out and try to take Lee Hammond, his first pick, just because he's in his gym? So I'm definitely curious to see how that one plays out. A few of the bantamweights that I definitely want to keep an eye out for, and that's Brad Katona, 12-2. He has UFC experience at 2-2. He's won the Ultimate Fighter season 27. He's been 4-0 since leaving his UFC departure, and he's the current Brave CF Bantamweight champion. So I do believe he has a big, big edge going into this season. A lot of experience, a lot of talent. He's definitely going to be one that I would keep an eye on for. And another one that I want to keep an eye out for, and that's Timur Vilayev, 18-3. He's also with UFC experience. When it comes to the bantamweights, I do believe these two guys will be at the end, most likely going against each other. As you know, when the show will come to an end of the season, obviously the main attraction will be Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. How do I see this playing out? Honestly, after watching Conor McGregor's documentary special on Netflix, McGregor Forever, I believe that the injuries and the mental warfare that Conor McGregor has been going through is not going to translate well for him going against a guy like Michael Chandler. Even though Michael Chandler has taken a lot of damage since entering the UFC, he's a very reckless, kill or be killed type of fighter. I do believe he presents a huge wrestling threat to McGregor, which has obviously been his biggest weakness. And McGregor has to see how his body even holds up. He himself has taken a lot of damage over his lustrous career, obviously former double champ, one of the best, most violent featherweights in the division. Obviously did not translate as well at all into the lightweights. Chandler, of course, you know, is a three-time Bellator lightweight champion, super fit, super explosive guy, trains extremely hard, amazing wrestler. I do believe he has a huge edge and he has a lot of knockout power. I think this is a very, very risky fight for Conor, and I actually commend him. I don't even consider this a tune-up fight for Conor. This is an extremely dangerous fight for Conor. Another possibly season-ending retirement injury can come out of a fight like this with Michael Chandler. So this is exciting. I can't wait for Tough Season 31 to fully kick off. Teams will be made. This is going to be a season for the books. Guys, remember, if you want to support Notorious Radio and you love watching our content, we have some of the best merchandise around. You can catch it on notoriouspulls.com. Remember, leave a like, follow, and subscribe if you're continuously enjoying a lot of the content that we are bringing to you. We are working hard because we work for our fans. We love our fans. And we are going to be doing a giveaway very soon. So, guys, please stay tuned, and we'll see you soon. Your host, Fight Pass with Mitch.